tribe, where they come from, their gender, physical ability, or disability. That, my fellow Kenyans, is my driving force. Desire for a country where you dream, you exert yourself, and where dreams come true, where you plan, act, and your despair is turned to hope, where you get what you deserve. Because with me, and we all know in this country, that it is very important for us to have a time when Kenyans work hard and get what they deserve. This is a time of thing being put up. This manifesto is well grounded. This manifesto is about widening the base. Let me repeat that. This manifesto is about widening the base. Sauti ya vijana na wanyonge approach. It's an approach for sauti ya vijana na wanyonge katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. I am a product of wanyonge in our country. I know what it means to sleep hungry, to suffer, to lack school fees. I know how it is to toil with little rewards. I have seen and felt the frustrations of my fellow Kenyans. And I know it is clear that we had leadership in our country whose policies favored the sauti ya Wakenya, sauti ya vijana na wanyonge. We are at a turning point in our country. We have the ability to include all in the economic equation. This can only be done by widening the economic base, very important, widening the economic base and bringing all aboard. Kenya cannot continue to be a country of a few billionaires and millions who are penniless and poor. Our country cannot be a country of wanyonge who marvel at helicopters. Wanashangilia helicopter, wanashangaa na helicopter, wanapigwa vumbi na helicopter, na huku mifuko wamesota, hawana hata shilingi, wako na njaa. We want to widen the base so that all of us, wherever we are, we can participate in the economic and social development of our mother. The 4 grand pillars by President Uhuru Kenyatta will now require a broader, wider approach to make them successful, sustainable, and profitable to the common man and woman. This manifesto builds on what there is with the emphasis of bringing all of us on board. We need to get our country back to the working nation spirit, but it needs to be work that rewards our efforts. Our youth, our mothers, our fathers need to be part of the system, the economic system, and not just spectators. This manifesto lays the blueprint for widening the base to include all of us, you, and me, not just a few privileged individuals. Unajua, Kenya ni yetu sisi sote. Na sasa ni wakati wa vijana sauti yao na sauti ya wanyonge kusikika. Wakati wa kuinua kila mtu ni sasa. Wakati ni huu, wakati wa kuomoka. Vijana tuomoke, akina mama tuomoke, wanaume tuomoke, wazee tuomoke. Hatuta pangwingwi, unasema hivyo? Hatutaki hiyo mambo. Sisi wote pangwingwi, tunajipanga hivi na sauti ya vijana na wanyonge. Na tunajipanga hivi. Pillar number 1, quality of life. Today, Kenyans pay more for basic utilities than all East African countries. For example, internet is cheaper in Tanzania and Uganda, yet Kenya is a more developed country. Petrol that is imported through our port and transported through our roads and pipeline is cheaper at the pump in Kigali and in Rwanda than here in Kenya. So what are we going to do about it? 1, tax reduction. Kenyans are overly taxed. As a president, I will harmonize county and national government taxes to stop double taxation and reduce income tax from 30% to 20%, and also reduce business taxes to a maximum of 25%. The idea is to broaden the base. For example, I'm going to reduce the taxes and duties paid on petrol and cars so that a liter of super petrol currently costing at 127 can be sold at nearly 30% less than that. The problem is that we have so many loaded taxes everywhere. You have tax, and then there's more taxes that are loaded. And I know this. I worked in Kibaki's government, and they are loaded. I've been a governor. Taxes are loaded, and mwananchi anaumia. Importation of cars, for example. You find that a car that costs 1 million shillings in Europe or the United States is sold in Kenya at 3 million shillings. Why? Because of the high cost of duty that Kenyans pay. Cars are not only for the rich, but for all of us. Sisi wote tunataka kuomoka, tunataka kuendesha magari. Therefore, I will make sure that duty of imported vehicles will be pegged at a maximum of 15% of the car's original cost. We will also provide incentives to ensure that most vehicles sold in Kenya have components assembled or produced in Kenya. Factories will be set up for vehicles to be assembled in Kenya because people manufacturing here in Kenya. 3, reduced internet and phone call costs. The cost of internet and phone calls relative to the time is much more expensive than in Kenya than many developing and developed countries. It's strange. It's easier to surf and cheaper to surf in Tanzania than in Kenya. My government will slash the cost of making calls and internet use by 30% to help generate and grow online use for businesses and create another 1 million jobs immediately through internet-based engagements. Number 4, Vitima, cost of power. Cost of power will be slashed, and Kenya Power what? Lighting companies' monopoly will be removed. We are tired of blackouts. We are tired of the high cost of power. Access to electricity will no longer be a privilege but a right. My government will liberalize the generation and distribution of power, allowing other independent players into the industry. This competition will supply cheaper and more reliable power into the grid from renewable energy sources, lowering the cost of manufacturing, therefore creating an additional 1.5 million jobs. For residential power consumers, my government will reduce the high taxes and levies to ensure no more blackouts as tokens will last longer and longer and longer. So we can watch our shows, watch our television, and do what we need to do at home. The second pillar, or same pillar, cost of food and food security. Same pillar, B. My government will adopt the American, European, Japanese, Australian models of subsidizing food production and distribution. This will reduce the cost of food by more than 50%, thus freeing up family resources to be utilized in raising the standards of living and savings. My government will ensure that every household is able to put food on the table. For example, under my plan, the cost of unga, that is maize flour, will drop from 120 shillings for a 2-kilogram packet of unga to 60 shillings. It is possible, and it can be done. We will also, number 2, implement an agricultural revival subsidizing program by adopting an innovative model from Malawi, which I successfully implemented in Machakos County. When I became governor of Machakos, we were being fed. We were receiving food relief. I said, I implemented the subsidy program, giving free seed. I'm going to roll that to the whole of Kenya. And I'm going to do that by A, mechanization of agriculture enables us to increase the yield. B, digging of small ponds and dams domiciled in small villages, plus small river spring dams weirs, so that people can harvest water. I'm also going to provide free and subsidized high-quality seeds to farmers all over the country to improve quality of the crops. We're also going to construct silos and storage facilities utilizing the latest technology. The thinking is this. If we have silos in all counties, We'll be able to mop food, freeze meat, freeze chicken, freeze fish, and have enough stocks to last 3 years kept in the silos. And they'll be replenished every year so that newer stock is put in. So that at any time when the rains fail, even for 3 years, you know you've got enough food to feed Kenyans without having to beg for food from overseas or tell our people that they are going to go hungry. This food will be poured into the market and life will continue as usual with nobody noticing that there's been hunger. So that is important. In addition to this, we are going to create a special food fund because starvation is not only brought about by lack of rain but lack of money. Countries with little rainfall or no rainfall like Saudi Arabia never need food relief. They have money to buy food. Hata nyinyi mlio hapa katika pande nyingi za Kenya. Nyinyi mnaniangalia hapa, mnaniangalia hapo, unaishi kwa apartment Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, uko mahali. Hauna shamba, haulimi, lakini wakati wa njaa ukufi njaa. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu kuna pesa. Ukiwa na pesa kwa mfuko, utaenda supermarket ununue chakula. So food is also, and starvation, an issue of poverty and lack of money. So this food fund will support the vulnerable and will be set up in a way that it is possible that all Kenyans will be able to receive, when they're in trouble, food stamps, which will be given to the struggling in exchange for food. So utapewa food stamp. Kama your family is very poor, you have no food, you're given food stamp, you go to a shop and you're given unga instead. And you're able to exchange the food stamps for food. Cash crops to be made king. I'll continue with the ongoing cash crops reforms, such as coffee, tea, sugar, macadamia, and avocado, and revive the growing of other products like cotton, miraa, sunflowers, groundnuts, cashew nuts, rice, wheat, flowers, among others. Special emphasis will be placed on production of beef, lamb, camel, and goat meat for export. Every county will be mandated to support production and coordinate collection and value addition of livestock for export. As far as possible, my government will eliminate the use of middlemen and create direct linkages between farmers and markets. My government will also support the setting up of factories for local production of affordable fertilizers so that farming counties will be encouraged to set up a fertilizer, organic or otherwise, production plant. Now, it's a very important point. This is about unlocking the value chain in agriculture. All Kenya agricultural products being exported will be encouraged to have a form of value addition. Hakuna haja, unatengeneza kitu hapa, unatoa hapa, umekuza hapa, unatuma ngambo, inatengenezwa, alafu tunarudishiwa kuuziwa hapa. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Kama kuna maembe hapa, tunatengeneza juice hapa. Hakuna haja kununua juice kutoka ngambo. Exporting raw materials or raw produce for overseas value addition and later be resold to us will be strongly discouraged. This will create employment and make agriculture very lucrative. Will be smiling all the way to the bank. And lastly, in this section, a home for every family. Very important. You know, owning a decent home should not just be a preserve for privileged few. The ongoing affordable housing program of President Uhuru Kenyatta's government is okay, but it's not doing enough. It is focusing on the urban areas. Majority of Kenyans live in the rural areas. They have their own small plot, they have the inherited farms. It is not touching on them at all. So what are you going to do? Because people need to construct their homes. People need to buy cheaper homes even in the rural areas. One, this manifesto and Maendeleo chapter proposes that a tax holiday will be provided for raw materials used in production of cement, paint, steel, and other items used in house construction. In India, for example, you can get a 50 kilogram of cement, 50 kilogram of cement for as low as 300 Kenya shillings. 50 kilogram in India is 300 shillings. So how are we going to reduce this? We're going to provide incentives. Reduction of taxes by 10% of all companies producing construction materials or items and transportation of the said building materials. The effect of these waivers will drop a bag of 50 cement from 600 shillings to 250 shillings. Therefore, the cost of production of a 2-bedroom modern house will drop for 2 million shillings to 700,000 shillings. Modest homes will even be cheaper. Therefore, mwananchi atakuwa anaomoka. It is our time now. say that we need to have homes. Families need to have homes that are affordable. Now, interest rates on homes and loans for construction will be dropped to international standards of 0.5% to a maximum 2%. Let me elaborate on this. To me, it blows my mind. When I look at the internet, you see that interest rates of homes in Australia is 0.2%, 0.5%. In Canada, in the US, maximum 1%. The other countries, maximum 2%. Here, a mortgage is 15, 20, 25%. My government will ensure that mortgages are down to 0.5 to 1% because there is no risk. When you take a loan, your house is a surety. If you're not able to clear the loan, the bank will come and take that house and sell it. There is no loss. The house is a surety. Therefore, if the house is a surety, then why is the bank charging us 15, 20%? Why is it that if I moved here, or you moved from here and went to Australia or Canada, you'll pay 0.5%, and they're richer than us? Yet a country with lower GDP like Kenya, we are paying 15%. Wakati wetu wa kuomoka umefika. This has been a country of a few rich people. This is a country that we are going to widen the base to include everybody on board. Sasa ni wakati ya sauti ya vijana na wanyonge, because we want to also have our homes. Now, to encourage families, newlyweds, wale wameoana hivi majuzi, will receive an initial capital from my government of 500,000 shillings to 1 million shillings in kind, payable over 20 years at an interest rate of 0.5% as a gift from the government to invest into their new home and entrench the family institution. So ukiwa na mkopo italipa banki yako, utalipa serikali polepole, so that you can start a family with a home. What is the effect of all this? Dignity for all of us. Improvement of the living standards and quality of homes countrywide, and no more mud houses. It is possible. Others have done it. We can also do it. Women empowerment will put in place policies to mainstream women table banking. A lot of women would like to work and they don't want to take big loans, but they would like to work every day. We're going to create a system whereby women will be able to go in the morning, anaenda asubuhi sokoni, anakopa pesa pale kwa kiosk, anauza, anarudisha ile pesa alikopa, anabakia na profit, anapelekea bwana na watoto nyumbani. We want to empower our women so that they'll be able to pay back the principal and go back on a daily basis as they do their normal work every day. This takes me now to the second pillar, the youth agenda. You know, the hardest thing to be in Kenya right now is to be a young, mature person. Here you are as a young person. You have energy, dreams, expectations, but you are in a country where whenever you step out of the door, everything seems to work against you. You are broke, yet you have power and the brains, lakini wapi opportunities. Your comrades, your brothers and sisters who finished school before you, wako nyumbani na wamesota, kusota kabisa. Every day you see the despair in the eyes of your parents. They're also giving up and they just pray. Sisi tumekuwa nchi ya kuomba tu. Kuomba ni mzuri, Mungu anatupenda, I love God, lakini kuomba saa yote bila matumaini ni jambo ambalo haliwezi kupatikana. Hatutaki hiyo. Tunataka kuomba kuwa na matumaini. God loves us, but he wants us to have what we deserve now in a chap way, like the other youth born in Europe, Japan, Australia, the United States, Brazil, and many other nations. They are not waiting. Youth in other countries are owning cars. Youth in other countries are making money. Youth in other countries are living their lives. Hawasoti, wako sawa. So why can't our youth also do the same? Waliumbwa na Mwenyezi Mungu. So this country will need to be a country where we know that God does not want us to suffer, but we are suffering because we have been conned over and over and over again by the same players. You know, the truth is this. Na hii ukweli lazima tuseme. All the other presidential players, majority of the other presidential candidates, have been in politics since the days of Daniel Arap Moi. When I was a kid, walikuwa hapo bado. Wasiku, kama watu wa siasa. They have been in politics before the advent of mobile phones. Walikuwa bado kwa siasa. You know, it is now time for a new generation to take over and transform Kenya from being their country, how, to being our country. It is time to widen the base to include the majority of this country in leadership, and that is the youth today. It is time for generational change. You know, we don't need people in power who try to understand how we feel. We need us who know how we feel in power, because we will respond accordingly. We don't have to be told how to feel. We know how we are feeling, and we'll be able to sort out our problems by widening the base, ensuring that vijana na wanyonge wote weko katika mpangilio wetu wa approach ya widening the base. For the youth, my government will create 5 million new jobs for youth in the first 3 years of my presidency. How? 1, tax breaks of up to 5% for companies that hire 10 or more youth at entry level. That is very important. The next thing that we'll be able to do is that our youth will also get concessions if they employ others. There's been proposals saying that waive 100%, that do not tax the youth. My analysis says that you cannot run a country whereby 100% of taxes are removed from the largest production sector. Hiyo wanawadanganya. Wataingia kwa power na watakata. Because if you do that, how will you be able to fund the government? Wajue sisi wajinga ni werevu. So what we are proposing is very simple. 50% of all youth businesses will pay, youth will pay 50% of taxes of their businesses, the ones that are operating. If you start a new business today, you will only pay 60% of taxes, not 100% like the other businesses. If you employ 2 to 5 people in your business, immediately young people in your business today, you will pay 75% less of your taxes. So we build it upon. But saying that you're going to waive 100% taxes from young people all over the country is actually not realistic. Wanawadanganya. I don't want to lie to Kenyans. I know how it feels. Let's look at how youth will also rise up through the entertainment industry. Entertainment will be made a major income producer. Free music and video production centers in every county will be put together. So every county will have a center. Like what we put in Machakos, we have Macha Wood. We like to have Kiambu Wood. We like to have Turkana Wood, Kisumu Wood. Have centers where young people can go and record for free and grow their entertainment. Number 2, TV shows and music being played on TV and radios in Kenya will be required to have 80% locally produced or in collaboration with others, Kenyan-produced shows or music, so that our music is played here, so that our entertainers, our youth, make their money in Kenya. Number 3, we're going to inject funds into small and medium enterprises in the entertainment industry so that they can be able to be lifted up. Number 4, we are removing duty and taxes on filming equipment, location, and crew for local and international productions. We have been losing millions of shillings, millions of dollars every week, every month, as filmmakers come to Kenya. They are frustrated at the airport. They are frustrated at the port bringing the equipment to make mega blockbusters. What do? They take all their money. They take the hundreds and thousands of jobs to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, and to other African countries, because Kenya has become a frustration point to filmmakers. Let us open our country. Let them come and make the movies here. Let them tell the Kenyan story. Let them employ millions of people and leave the money here in Kenya. Let them not leave the money in other countries because of the frustration that we give to filmmakers. 5, innovation centers in all counties will be put up to encourage youth to be designers, manufacturers, and business people. And 6, internship programs in organizations, including government agencies and businesses, to have clear opportunities where at least 50% of those who are in internship will be absorbed on a full-time basis. I've talked about tax relief for youth businesses and existing businesses for the youth who are there. And I like to repeat this. I want to encourage youth to start their businesses. I want them to be able to start businesses and know that jobs are not enough. Young people, you'll be encouraged to start businesses, you'll be taught, etc., etc. If you can move on. Now, I can hear some excitement tuko nyuma watu wamefurahi sana. But you know, youth cannot just start businesses without access to money. So, access to credit. My chap government will waive the requirements for a surety for the youth fund for individuals and partnerships for up to $500,000 shillings. So you can just go in as an individual and borrow the money without any surety. The loans will be pegged at an interest rate of 0.2% and will be dispersed as project or accounts or equipment funds. The process of obtaining credit for the youth fund. First of all, we make the form easy. But the process of obtaining the youth fund, as a young person in this country, under the government of Dr. Alfred Mutua, you will only need 1 registration form, 2 supporting documents, 1-page business plan, and it will be processed and given to you within 24 hours of your application, because online applications will also be accepted. Now, to get our young people employable, because many finish school and they can't get jobs because wanaambiwa hauna kitambulisho, hauna document, hauna nini. All youth who turn 17, and they're in our schools, when you turn 17, using the teaching system and the headmaster and the deputy headmaster, they will have the identity card, PIN, passport, NHIF, and NSSF documents lodged and processed. So a young person, you're in school, you turn 17, you will fill the forms, application of passport, application of ID, application of NHIF, all those forms you will fill them. They will go for processing. And the day you turn 18, within a month you turn 18, they will be brought to you as 18-year-old. Within a month of turning 18, you'll have your ID, your passport, your NHIF, your documents to allow you to transition very quickly into the workplace as soon as you leave school. This takes us to pillar number 3, manufacturing. Industrialization is a key aspect in the growth of any country for economic development and for providing employment. Kenya imports manufactured commodities made from overseas, which we can produce locally and distribute to the rest of the world. This manifesto proposes that we are going to put a factory in every constituency. If you go to China today, they have a factory in every village. Why is it that everything you look at is made in China? Even the reporters in front of me, I even thought this gentleman is Chinese. His shoes are made in China, his trousers are made in China, his shirt is made in China, kofia yake imetengenezwa China, hata underwear anajua imeandikwa made in China. Everything we wear is made in China. Why? The pens we are using, the cameras we are using, everything, the microphones, made in China. China decided they are going to produce for the world. There is enough market, not only in Kenya and East Africa, but even in Africa, so that Kenya can now produce everything for everywhere. Let people in Malawi, in Uganda, in Zambia, in Lagos, Nigeria, wear shoes, wear underwear, wear vest, wear kofia, use pens written, made in Kenya. And we're going to do this by setting up, 1, special economic zones in all counties. We identify unique strengths of each county, and we set them up. This is how we do it. When you set up a special zone, we are going to invest in business factory infrastructure. You set up an area, you do the roads of that area, you dig water, you bring power, you wake up warehouses, so that an investor can come and plug and play. An investor will come and plug and play, and the government itself, and nimfanya mahesabu, by putting 250 million per year, billion per year, will be able to set up their own small factories to start employing people, so that Kenya can now manufacture for the rest of the country. The government will therefore invest in these factories within business parks to create employment and encourage investors. Kenya has the capacity of producing goods for sale in all African nations. Kenya will be the manufacturing hub of Africa. This will generate directly and indirectly to 2 million jobs within 2 years. Immediately, very simple. Set them up, employ people, start manufacturing, the market will reveal itself. B, we'll revive stalled factories within the first 6 months of taking over. A business audit will be done with the objective of conducting an evaluation and coming up with an action plan for the revival and reopening of stalled factories in a chap-chap manner. In manufacturing, my government will give a 3-year tax relief for all new factories set up in Kenya. This will encourage foreign direct investment in Kenya and also encourage local investors to go into manufacturing. The future is manufacturing. wacha tutengenezee ulimwengu socks. Pillar number 4. This I consider very close to my heart. Universal free healthcare for all Kenyans. In Machakos, we have successfully implemented universal healthcare. When we were in that program, and even now, we're able to go the extra mile and say to Kenyans in Machakos, and today it's implementable. From birth, maternity to mortuary, it is free of charge. In Machakos today, you can get brain surgery performed on you, you can be in the ward for 1 year, you can go to theater, you can be treated for any disease. It is 100% free. Now, how are we going to do this? Bearing in mind that healthcare is devolved and funds are already provided by the SECA for the day-to-day running, a chap-chap Mutua government will, 1, provide grants to all counties to upgrade health facilities and equipment, focusing on preventive and cure detection of diseases. Dispensaries and health centers will be revamped so that we have as minimum standard set up across the country as we broaden the base. It is not just about the rich. Si mambo ati ukiugua unaenda India, hapana, hii ni ya wananchi. We are broadening the base. Everybody to benefit. This will be completed within 1 year of my government. The national government, my national government, will provide an additional 1 billion to 1.5 billion annual funding based on population to each county. This will come to about 65 billion shillings. It is possible within the government structure we have today in the budget to just allocate 65 to 70 billion to counties for universal healthcare so they do not charge, so that they can buy their medicines for free, buy their items because they're already taking care of their doctors, and it will make it very, very affordable, especially by supplementing NHIF. Healthcare is a right. It is not a privilege. And it is not only for the few who can afford it. We are going to fund medical research centers. The government will set up a fund to provide competitive research monies to universities and research facilities to our experts to undertake medical research, from treatment methods to development of new medicines and vaccines. Hataki kungojea vaccine kutoka nje. We don't know which other COVID will come around. Let us make our own vaccines here by giving money to investors. And these investors will be giving money to our medical practitioners and our researchers and our professors so that now they can do research. So the government will fund directly. And this fund will be assisting not only the researchers in medical care, but also in other innovation, because we also need to build our own telescopes and a few things to support this. Another area that is very dear to my heart in health is about cancer. Today, when a Kenyan is sick from cancer, tunamwambia Mungu. Tunasema tulikupenda sana. Anaingia ndege, anaenda India kama anaweza, ama anaenda Amerika, anaenda South Africa kama anaweza. Wale hawezi wanakufia hapa nyumbani, tunasema tulikupenda, lakini Mungu alikupenda zaidi. Kwani Mungu anapenda maskini zaidi kuliko matajiri? Maskini akipata kansa ameenda. Tajiri anapewa extension. We want to broaden the base for all Kenyans, so that whether you get cancer or not, if you get cancer, you know you can get treatment. How? In Machakos, we were able to build a Machakos Cancer Care Center, where we treat our people up to chemotherapy, free of charge. You get cancer today in Machakos, you can go, or you think you have cancer, you'll go to Machakos, you'll be tested, they'll do biopsies, and they'll be able to treat you and keep you alive, just like they're treating that rich person who went to India, South Africa, or America. And we're expanding. Therefore, my government will require and set up cancer centers in all counties and encourage county governments to do the same, as we have done. So we'll set them up, and these centers will also have research components and an exchange program of experts from all over the world. We're on number 5, which is halfway through our pillars. Pillar number 5, security. Every person in Kenya should be able to move, travel, rest, and otherwise congregate in a safe environment 24 hours a day. So what are we going to do? For fighting crime, 1, we are going to look into police welfare. Police officers' packages and salaries will be reviewed upwards comparative to international standards. A police security officer should be within the middle-class economic strata and above the lowest paid police officer and above. Therefore, the lowest paid police officer in Kenya under my government will receive a minimum basic salary, before adding other things, basic salary of 50,000 shillings. Police officers will also be able to get a housing purchase scheme immediately at the same rate given to members of parliament, governors, presidents, MCAs of less than 3%. It's a shame. A governor is given 1 to 3%, an MCA is given what? 1 to 3%, MP is given 3%, na ule mtu anamchunga analipa 15-20%. So we will start with that one. Even as we roll the 0.5 to 2% mortgage rate, they'll be able to use their salaries and get it automatically from the government, their rates at minimum or maximum of 3%. All police officers will also receive full medical cover for themselves, spouse, and 4 children. Police equipment and safety. We will ensure that each officer, we are going to modernize our police officers. Umeona polisi wetu wale wanatembea? Amebeba bunduki namna hii, amechoka, nguo ziko hivi, wakati risasi inapigwa na dive. We are going to equip our police officers, we can afford it, so that each police officer will have a bulletproof vest, will have a walkie-talkie, will have their gun, will have their video camera, just like they do other countries. We'll be able to communicate, call for help. We'll be able to tell people what they're doing. We'll have the bulletproof vest to save their lives from the bullets, from the criminals. We're going to ensure that police operations are fully